Hey, welcome. So, if you're trying to build anything with AI, you already know it can feel, well, a little chaotic. That's why today we're going to cut right through all that noise. We're creating a simple, straightforward map of the whole AI ecosystem so you can actually start building with some real confidence. Okay, let's get into it. Right? It really is a jungle out there. Every single day, it seems like there's a new tool, a new framework, another acronym to learn. It's just this dense forest of options. And it's so easy to get lost wondering, where do I even start? Am I using the right model? Is there a simpler way to do this? Well, the good news is, yes, there is. And the whole point of this explainer is to hand you that map. We are going to lay out a really simple 4-layer framework that's going to help you understand, categorize, and pick the right tools for literally whatever it is you want to build. All right, let's start with the blueprint. I want you to think of any AI application as being built from 4 main layers. Once you get these, you pretty much get the entire ecosystem. So first up, we have layer 1, the brain. This is the core intelligence. It's the foundation model, the large language model or LLM that's actually doing the thinking. This is the part that understands what you're asking, reasons through problems, and generates all the text or content you need. And the big players here are the ones you've probably already heard of, right? You've got OpenAI's GPT-4, Anthropic's Claude, and of course, Google's Gemini. Now, each one has its own little quirks and strengths, but they all serve as that powerful engine that you plug everything else into. But, a brain isn't very useful without any memories. And that brings us to layer 2, the knowledge. This is where you give your AI a long-term memory. It's usually a vector database, and it's where you store all the specific information your AI needs to know. We're talking about your company's internal documents, product details, or even a user's entire conversation history. And that's the key here. This layer gives your AI crucial context. You'll see tools like Pinecone and Weaviate, which are super popular because they're easy to get started with. Or you could go with open source options like Chroma, which gives you way more control if you're comfortable running it yourself. Okay, so how do you get your AI to actually do stuff in the real world? Like send an email or update a Google Sheet. That is layer 3, the conductor. These are the awesome orchestration platforms that connect all your different apps and automate workflows. And a lot of the time, you don't even need to write a single line of code. Just think of these as the central nervous system for your AI agent. Tools like Zapier and Make.com are incredibly friendly for setting up simple automations. Meanwhile, something like N8N, that offers a lot more complexity and control for more advanced users. This layer is really where intelligence turns into action. And finally, for the really complex projects, we have layer 4, the builders. Now, these are coding frameworks that give you pre-built, reusable parts to put together some seriously sophisticated, custom AI agents. But I gotta say, this layer is totally optional, especially when you're just starting out. Frameworks like LangChain and AutoGPT give you this really fine-grained control to build agents that can perform multiple steps, reason, and act all on their own. They are incredibly powerful. But really, don't feel like you have to start here. You can build some amazing things using just those first 3 layers. Okay, so you get the 4 layers. Now for the big question, how do you actually choose the right instrument for each part of your orchestra? Well, there are a few key things you've got to consider. First up, and it's a big one, is cost. But listen, it's more than just the sticker price. A free tier is awesome for playing around, but what's it going to cost you per million tokens or per 1,000 database queries once you start to scale up? Sometimes a tool with a small upfront cost is actually way cheaper in the long run. You got to think long term. Next is ease of use, which, let's be real, is just another kind of cost. It's your time. A super powerful tool with a crazy steep learning curve might set your project back for weeks. But an intuitive, no-code platform could get you 80% of the way there in just one afternoon. So the question is, which one gets you to your goal faster? And that brings us to 2 final and absolutely crucial points: integration and scalability. First, does this new tool actually play nice with the software your team already uses every day? And second, can it handle a sudden jump from 10 users to 10,000? Choosing a tool that fits your workflow now and is ready for your growth later will save you so many headaches down the road. So, you've picked your tools from each layer. How in the world do they actually talk to each other? Well, the magic glue holding this whole thing together is something called an API. Let's make this super simple with an analogy. I want you to think of an API as a waiter in a restaurant.
Your app places an order, that's the request. The waiter, that's the API, takes that order to the kitchen, which is the service, like GPT-4. The kitchen cooks the food, and then the waiter brings the result right back to your table. Simple as that.
Now, to place that order, you need a special key. An API key is basically like a VIP pass. It proves that you have permission to use the service. And just like a real VIP pass, you have to keep it secret and super secure. Seriously, never ever expose your API keys in public code. All right, we've gone over the map, we've looked at the toolkit, and we've seen how all the connections work. You now have the fundamental concepts you need to navigate this whole AI world. So let's just bring it all home. So what are the main things to remember here? First, this space changes constantly, so don't get sidetracked by every shiny new toy. Just focus on mastering the core tools. Second, you don't need a dozen different services. Most powerful apps are built by combining just a handful of the right ones. Also remember, open source gives you tons of flexibility, but it definitely requires more technical skill. And finally, please, keep a close eye on your API usage. Those costs can sneak up on you really fast as you grow. So there you have it, the 4 layers, the checklist for picking your tools, and the API glue that holds it all together. You officially have the builder's guide. The only question left is, what amazing thing are you going to build first?